Well, it's our final day in Guam, and I've been editing all day, but now that it's getting to be about sundown, I decided to come out and go for a swim. I just wanted to do a quick video about Guam and about our experience here, because I know a lot of people have been asking what Guam is like. It's a big tourist attraction, mostly for Japanese people and some Americans. Obviously, there's a lot of American military out here, the different military bases. One of those military bases is trying to grow by quite a bit because they're trying to move Marines off of the island of Okinawa in Japan due to complaints from the people who live there, and then move those Marines over to Guam. And so we drove by that base yesterday, and there's a tremendous amount of construction going on out there, but apparently they've had trouble getting enough housing for these guys, and so they are putting them up in hotels like these ones behind me, right here along the water. Ooh, that sun is bright. And there's a lot of really nice beachfront hotels here in Tumon Bay. The beach, as you can see, is absolutely gorgeous, white sand beach, and like I said, big tourist area. Now what's interesting is that Japanese people come here to get a taste of America, and what I mean is, you know, there are shooting ranges, indoor shooting ranges all over downtown, and they come here because they want to get a chance to handle a gun and shoot a gun. They think that's really cool. And eat hamburgers. There's a Hard Rock Cafe here that's real popular with the Japanese tourists. Even different just American traditions and things like that they don't probably get to do a lot in Japan. One of the things I just noticed that's kind of interesting here is if you look right there, that's a chapel, like a wedding chapel. There's another one that's off that way, and there's another one out on that point right out there, and there's another wedding chapel right here attached to that hotel right there. There's another one right there. There's a couple more down that way, and then there's two out on the point near the Holton hotel where we stayed the first couple nights we were here. So apparently it's a big deal to come get married here. It's kind of like maybe Las Vegas, but if you look closer at those chapels, they're not Christian churches. They're just nice venues for a wedding, because I guess, you know, many Japanese people, not Christian, they're Shinto or Buddhist maybe or whatever, and they probably wouldn't want to get married in a Christian church, but you know, something that looks like one that's got a nice view of the ocean is you know, good business for the hotels out here.
The story of creation, their journey across the sea.
Dinner and a show tonight is on the menu. They have a barbecue over here. We're going to Chamorro BBQ for this thing, and just want you to see what's on the menu here. There we go. Look at that. That's dinner. Yep. Okay. Pretty exciting. that has surprised me about the tourists here is that you hear so much about Japan being a place that just doesn't have kids anymore. Like the birth rate is so low that Japan is going into what they call terminal decline. And that's interesting because here, at least, there are a lot of young Japanese families with kids. There's one right there playing in the water. So I see a whole bunch of Japanese kids running around on the beach out here. They have kids programs here and stuff. So apparently this place caters to that very small subset of Japanese families who actually is procreating. And that's a real good thing to see. I've been told by several people that if you take a baby to Japan, if you're carrying a baby around with you in Japan, that you're going to get a lot of attention from everybody because it's just a rare sight nowadays. But it is not a rare sight here on Guam to have these Japanese tourists with their kids. So there's that. That's it gives me at least a little bit of hope for the nation of Japan, which I have said several times is probably going to be populated by nothing but robots before too long at the rate they're going if they don't start having more babies. So anyway, lots of history we have run into, lots of World War II history. Got to go into the caves that were built by the Japanese when they had control of the island in the 1940s. These particular caves here on the island of Guam were used as air raid shelters by the Japanese when they controlled the island up until it was retaken from them in 1944.
Jovitos. 2 days. They've been following us. If they knew we were here, they would have killed us already.
We got to go to the site of one of the massacres of the Chamorro people before the United States was able to retake the island. This submarine is a Japanese World War II two-man submarine. There were more than 2,000 of these made during World War II. And even though they were deployed all over the Pacific, they only ever managed to sink one ship. But this one washed ashore here on Guam about a week after the battle to retake the island from the Japanese. They were in the process of trying to strike at American facilities here. But you can see how, even though this is for two people, it's 80 feet long, comfort was not much of a consideration in these things. As a matter of fact, the later versions of this 80-foot long submarine had explosive warheads attached to the nose so they could be used as suicide bombs. We got to go out to where a Japanese soldier hid himself in the jungle for 30 years after the end of the war because he didn't know the war was over. And so he didn't want to give up. And he just kept himself very much secluded, stealing people's pigs and stuff like that. So can you imagine how upset you would be if you'd been hiding out in a hole in the jungle for 30 years, thinking that you're standing up for the emperor, and then come to find out the emperor's not around anymore. The whole world has changed. And now the people that were your enemies are your friends and your allies. That's just, incredibly sad. Honestly, Tumon Bay is about it on this island. There's really no other hotels, almost no other hotels anywhere else on the island. This strip right here is the tourist area, and that's really kind of all there is to see, unless you're just looking for views of water from cliffs all around. I mean, there's historical sites. A lot of them since the pandemic have kind of been overgrown because nobody went in there, and so the couple that we went to see were kind of underwhelming, except for the Japanese caves. Those were really cool.
Ooh, look at that fancy. Wait, did I order these?
Well, obviously this isn't my normal beat, and it's honestly pretty nice to be someplace where nobody's trying to kill me for once. and I get to just check out, enjoy being with my wife, take a few days off. And so I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts, because the next trip is to Syria. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. I'm Chuck Holton. Thanks for watching.